Good morning, my dear students. So today we can have the revision of second chapter in biology, that is microorganisms, friend and foe, because for your exam that chapter is considered. So we can have a brief, only very brief revision on that chapter. Okay, so in that chapter first we have discussed what is a microorganism. A microorganism is an organism which cannot be seen with our naked eye, and we can see only it with the help of a microscope. And the microorganisms are mainly classified into unicellular and multicellular. Right. And the next thing is, where do the microorganisms live? They can live under extreme environmental conditions. Either they live alone or they seen as groups, and when they are in unfavorable conditions, they forms a cyst, an outer a hard protective covering called cyst. Okay, and it is the peculiarity feature of some of the microorganisms. And the next thing is about grouping of microorganisms. The main classification of microorganisms are bacteria, viruses, fungi, algae and protozoa. These are the 5 different categories of microorganisms. And among that, bacteria are again classified into 4. Bacilli, cocci, vibrio and spirilla. These are the 4 classification of bacteria. Bacilli is rod shaped bacteria. Cocci is spherical shaped bacteria. Then vibrio shaped, vibrio means comma shaped, and spirilla means spiral shaped bacteria. And you need to study the examples of these 4 categories. Okay, coming to viruses, they are the smallest, extremely small microorganisms, and it means poisonous liquid. Okay, and the examples of viruses are influenza virus, HIV virus, polio virus, etc. And coming to algae, it is the plant-like microorganism. Plant-like microorganism, and algae are of unicellular and multicellular. The example for a unicellular algae is Chlamydomonas, and the multicellular algae is Volvox. Okay, and there are particular features for algae, fungi, viruses, bacteria, etc. And you need to study the examples too. Then fungi. Fungi are the diverse group of organisms that lack chlorophyll, and they generally grow in dark, warm and moist conditions, and they feed on dead and decayed organisms. The examples for fungi are yeast, mushroom, penicillium, etc. They are also unicellular and multicellular. Then coming to protozoa, they are the term means first animals, and they are unicellular microorganisms. Protozoans are unicellular microorganisms, and they are either saprophytic or parasitic. The example is Euglena. The example is Euglena, but the Euglena is an protozoa that contains chlorophyll, so they can prepare their own food material. That's about the 5 different groups of microorganisms. Then coming to making food items, the main thing is Lactobacillus bacteria helps to convert milk into curd. Okay, so with the help of Lactobacillus bacteria, curd is prepared from milk. So there is a protein called casein present in milk, and its coagulation leads to the formation of curd. Okay. And coming to next food item, next important property of microorganism that helps to make food items like paneer, cheese, etc. And that is also helped by the bacteria Lactobacillus and Streptococcus. Then the tenderization of meat. The meat converted to make it soft. The bacteria that act upon the tough meat in order to make it soft, and that process is termed as tenderization of meat. Then coming to fermentation. Fermentation is the breakdown of sugar breakdown of sugar, carbon dioxide and alcohol are formed, and that process is termed as fermentation. So by fermentation, the baking of bread and some other pastries are also done. Then yeast is used for the preparation of idli, dosha, etc. in our daily life. Then commercial use. There are lots of commercial uses for the microorganism. Yeast is used for the production of alcohol, beer, wine, acetic acid, etc. by the process called fermentation. So what is fermentation? Fermentation is the process of conversion of sugar into alcohol by the action of microbes. Okay, then medicinal use. The important medicinal uses are the production of antibiotics. The first observed or first discovered antibiotic was penicillin, which is obtained from a fungi, Penicillium notatum. Okay, and what are antibiotics? Antibiotics are the medicines produced by organisms such as bacteria and fungi that kill or stop the growth of disease-causing microorganisms. And coming to immunity, production of vaccines. Microorganisms are used for the production of vaccines, and vaccines are applied for enhancing our immunity. What is immunity? The ability, one's ability to resist against a disease is termed as immunity, and vaccines are used from microorganisms to enhance or to stimulate our immunity. And actually vaccines are the small dose of dead and weakened disease causing microorganisms that helps to stimulate our immune response. Okay, and this vaccines act as an antigen in our body, foreign particles, so that our body will produce the corresponding antibody against it, so that these antibodies remain in our body and protect ourselves against the future infection of the same microbe. Okay, and immunization schedule are given in your textbook, so just go through that. Then the next one is to increase the soil fertility. Microorganisms are used, so they are called as biological nitrogen fixers, like rhizobium bacteria, acetobacter, then some blue-green algae, bacteria. They are used to enhance the soil fertility. That means they will fix the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compound that can be easily absorbed by the plant. Okay, and coming to cleaning the environment, the microorganism will decompose the dead and decayed organic waste by converting them into harmless simple substances, so that our environment get cleaned by this action. Okay, so the next thing that we have studied in this chapter are harmful microorganisms. Microorganisms, we know that microorganisms will cause communicable diseases. The disease that spread from an infected person to a healthy person is called as a communicable disease, and the ways that can be spread through are through the air that we breathe, the water we drink, or the food that we eat. And common communicable diseases are given here, like virus, the communicable disease caused by virus, bacteria, protozoa and fungi are given in your textbook. So you need to study, focus on the examples. It is very important in this chapter. Okay. Then after that, the different modes of transmission of diseases are given, and each one is provided with the examples too. So just go through that. Then the diseases in animals given, then the diseases in plants, then microorganisms cause the food spoilage. And in order to prevent the food spoilage, it will cause many harmful effects to our body. So we need to preserve that food material. That is very important in this chapter. Food preservation methods. The methods that are used to prevent the food spoilage are called as food preservation. Either it may be physical or chemical. Certain methods are given like chemical methods using food preservatives, then and sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfate, citric acid are the most commonly used food preservatives. Then by using preservation by common salt, and it is also termed as salting. Then preservation by sugars, preservation by oil and vinegar, pasteurization. Pasteurization is a method or it is a process of preservation of milk. First, the milk is heated in high temperature about 70 degrees Celsius, and after that it is cooled into 10 degrees Celsius. So all the bacteria and the remaining microorganisms will be killed, and it is stored in sterilized bottles. That method is termed as pasteurization, and it is usually done in industries, milk industries. Then by cooling or freezing, we can preserve the food material. By dehydration, by removing the water content from the food items, we can also preserve the food items. Okay, so the last topic, but very important topic, is about nitrogen cycle. So we know that plants require nitrogen in more quantity, so that it need to be recycled from the environment. That means from the environment or from the atmosphere, it need to reach in the soil, and from the soil it again reaches the atmosphere. So there is a cyclic flow of nitrogen occurs in our environment, and that is mentioned in your textbook as a cycle. So you need to by heart this cycle. The different steps in the nitrogen cycle, like nitrogen fixation is the first step, then nitrogen assimilation, ammonification and nitrification. All these topics are very important, and if you have any doubt in that, just ask me personally. And in the previous portions, if you have any doubt, you can watch the video class again. That is another choice or another option for you. So you need to study well and score good marks for your exam. Okay, thank you.